welcome to the stage Chris Kinzler.
Excellent. Thank you very much. First off, Sridhar, you're obviously an expert, so you can take my spot if you'd like. No? Okay, good. All right, so I am Chris Kinzler. I work in the HPE Storage division, and I am in product management focused on SAP. And we're going to hear about the new Nimble TDI certification. So first and foremost, this presentation is very, very boring. So I want everybody to get up and do a quick 10 jumping jacks so you can stay awake throughout the whole thing. No? Okay, ticket for you. He started to jump. All right, thank you very much. Okay. So these first few slides, Scotty and team just covered them. So HPE has partnered with SAP for how long?
29.
Excellent. Really kind of the moral of the entire story is HPE is absolutely committed to the SAP workload. And we will be TDI certifying virtually everything we do, right? Because we're not only partners with them, but we also want to make sure that we innovate with them and continue to gain and be number one in the market share. So there's really three deployment models. The first is server configuration. The next is appliance, which we have an entire appliance stack. And the third is TDI, which I'm going to be focusing on today. TDI is the most flexible solution, which is where Nimble in particular fits in. So what it is really is you go out and certify each individual piece of hardware. That way customers can deploy whatever fits their environment. Okay, so who has the number one server portfolio for the HANA deployments? All right, one ticket there, thank you. Yep, so it's really irresponsible for me not to mention this, even though I'm a storage guy, so I definitely want to bring that up. So let's jump into storage. I'm going to try and keep this pretty high level. A bunch of people ask me, is storage needed for HANA since it's in-memory database? The answer is absolutely yes. Thank you for answering that. So really kind of the way that I like to think about it is every time I type a very important Word document, you know, I always continue to hit the save button, right? Just to make sure nothing deletes or you don't lose data if your computer gives you the blue screen at death. That's really what storage is doing. It's meant for persistence, so it saves the database every 5 minutes and stores logs upon commit. So it's absolutely critical for a HANA workload. We at HPE have 4 solutions that are TDI certified. The first one is the MSA. It's super simple, very economical, and a tiny, tiny footprint. It's our lowest in storage for that. The next one up is the HPE Nimble, which I'm not going to cover right now because I'm going to talk about it more. Our flagship product in the HANA space has been HPE 3PAR for many years now. We mostly deploy this in a bunch of mixed workloads environments. So it's good to run HANA as well as Oracle, SQL, whatever it is, right? It has enough horsepower behind it. And the last one is XP7, which is massive scale and has continuous DR. So if you just cannot go down, that is the deployment model you want to do. Okay, so when we talk about Nimble, we have 3 things. What are they? Does anybody want to answer those 3? Excellent, good. So predictive is really when we talk about HPE InfoSight. I'll cover that in a few seconds, so I'm not going to dive deep into that here. Everything has to be cloud ready too, so you can move it on-prem and move it off-prem. That way, you know, you have the right workload, the right place at the right time to drive the best for your business. And last thing is timeless. HPE Nimble is timeless. We guarantee no forklift upgrades, which is a major problem in the storage industry. We also have all-inclusive licensing, so it's an easy entry point for cost, so once you buy it, you don't have to buy licenses from us for anything. And above and beyond that, if we release licenses in the future, that will be included when you download the new Nimble OS. We also do free controller upgrades. Every 3 years, we do a controller upgrade if you buy a support contract with us. And what's critical here is a bunch of our other competitors do little controller upgrades, and it's just a very minuscule performance bump. For us, it is a 25% guaranteed performance increase when you do a controller upgrade. All right, so HPE InfoSight. Does anybody have any idea how many sensors we have that are out in the field sensing data right now? 4? Okay, you'll get a ticket for that, but the answer is 300 trillion sensors. Okay, so we have 300 trillion sensors out that are observing the environment. They actually learn, they predict, and then they actually recommend a fix to customers before you even know what is wrong. Not only do we do that in the storage environment, but it's also data center wide. So does anybody have any idea what percentage of issues we find that are not storage? Percentage not storage issues? 20? Good guess, a little higher. 30, a little higher. Say what?
35.
Higher. 75, lower. 50? 50%. So 50% of the issues that we find are not storage related. That's a huge number, right? So we're also recommending fixes on those too before the customer even knows they hit. Another critical piece about Nimble is we have multi-cloud flash fabric. Essentially what that means is you can move workloads disruptively between any Nimble array, which is critical, right? So you can move between all flash, hybrid flash, and also move to the cloud. So depending on where you need that workload, you can put it non-disruptively there, which is critical, obviously, again, to drive good business outcomes, right? One of the other things, I'm going to not cover these two, but I do want to talk about how Nimble is reliably fast. So we have active standby controllers. A bunch of our competitors in the market have active controllers, and if one of the controllers fails, performance in general, simple math, decreases by 50%, right? So if we have active standby controllers, how much does our performance decrease if a controller fails? Tom? Excellent. 0% about, right? So that's absolutely critical to run your work on a workload with 0% performance degradation. One of the other cool things, and it's not TDI certified, but it is for mixed workloads, is HPE Cloud Volumes is something that we talk about a lot. So you can actually go out and spin up a compute layer in Azure or Amazon Web Services and do a pay-per-use into Nimble, again, which allows you that ultimate data mobility of moving your volumes so that your business can get the best value for your product and you can deliver the most value to your customers. All right, so I come from the HPE side of the house, and so when we talk about Nimble, it really, in my opinion, has transformed the data center experience. So for starters, it's support that you actually like. Because of InfoSight, we don't even hire level 1 or level 2 support engineers. You pick up the phone if you have a problem, and you automatically go to level 3. Okay, so these guys actually know what they're talking about, which is fantastic. You don't waste your time on the phone, which goes to that 79% lower storage operational expenses. Your engineers can actually do work that they get paid to do instead of managing storage. The other thing is, because of, again, InfoSight again, we have 6 nines of guaranteed availability. And this is interesting because we don't say we have 6 nines. We do 6 nines, and we guarantee it through InfoSight. We've seen it time and time again. All right, so this is the new AF arrays that we just released. So something that we pride ourselves here is that when we do a new release, we don't do a tiny speed bump. The new one is 220% better price performance compared to the old Nimble array. And it goes up to 4 petabytes of capacity and up to 16 nodes in a HANA environment. To ask a question there, how many nodes can an AF80 support? 16. Perfect. All right, so really kind of the same message here, right? So HF stands for hybrid flash. We have some spinning media and some flash in it. That's all it really stands for. This is a great entry point for your SAP HANA TDI environment. You can start as low as 11 terabytes, all right? So if you're just entering and you need a dev test type of scenario, this is a great place to start. So data protection is also critical on your HANA environment. You cannot obviously have it go down or else your business goes down with it. We of course have snapshots, clones, replication, and Reed will be talking about that, my coworker, tomorrow in depth, so I absolutely suggest coming back to that. And we also have the Catalyst plugin, which goes to store once and can go to Cloud Bank Storage and RMC. Okay, so really, why choose Nimble for your SAP HANA environment? So the first thing is it reduces risk because of InfoSight, right? We find issues before they're even there. The other thing is it's cloud ready, so you can move your volumes non-disruptively, right? That's absolutely critical if you have a mixed workload environment. And the last thing really is why trust anybody but HPE running HANA? You can see from this chart, every single time that I see it, I actually kind of chuckle a little bit, right? It's like, holy cow, wow. I mean, we are way ahead of everybody else. So we know what we're doing, we're dedicated to it, and we will make sure that we run your HANA the best in the world. So does anybody have any questions? Yep. I'm sorry, what? The prize? I think it's an Amazon Echo.
That's a question, though.
That's a question, and that's a legitimate question. There you go. Any other questions? Every question gets a ticket. How's it compared to other competitors? Yeah, so you'll definitely want to contact your account team on that, right? Because everybody's going to do different discounting and stuff. Certainly down in the, are you talking Nimble in particular? Okay, yeah. So Nimble in particular, if it's a price war, you can go down to the HF array, but again, you'll want to talk to your account team. Anybody else have any questions?
One thing when you're talking about pricing with Nimble, I don't know if you mentioned this, but the idea of the array controllers, that the array controller upgrade that's included in the original price. Did you mention that?
Yep.
Okay, good. So calculate that in. We're very affordable.
Wow.
Any other questions? In that case, thank you very much, Chris. If you do have any questions for Chris and about Nimble Storage or any of the HPE line, he's going to be hanging out right over here and be happy to answer any of your questions for a couple minutes. But right now, we're